I'll be doing my project on a data set of flight delays. So here's an initial look at the data set. You have the date of the flight in 3 different columns, the day of the week, the airline, code, the flight number, the number of the plane, origin, destination, airport. Then here we have all the times of the scheduled departure, actual departure, delays, taxiing, wheels off. So a lot of details on the timing of the flight. And they're in a kind of a weird format that's hard to understand. And then, there's the actual arrival time, the actual delay, and then some details on what kind of delay it was, if there was a delay. So there's just an initial look at the data set. After looking at that, I went to Python to do some cleaning of the data. So what I did here was read in the CSV file here. Then I broke it down to just include the month of January because it's such a large data set that a lot of the applications I was using couldn't handle it. Then I put the date into one column, combined the 3 columns of year, month, and day, and made it into one date. Here, I formatted the times of the flight to a better format to make it actual readable to like a regular date. Because before it was just reading the first two digits as an hour and the second 2 numbers as the minutes. So this makes it into a more readable. And then this function down here allows me to create put a date and a time together. So that's kind of what I do down here. Scheduled departure, I put the date and the time together. Then for the rest, I just format the times regularly. I didn't worry about a lot of the other columns just because they're not very useful. And then down here, I split the data into a training and a test set. So this would be before the 23rd, and this would be after the 23rd of January, because I'm just looking at the month of January. Then I wrote both of them to CSV files. Next, I'll be cleaning them up a little bit more in Excel to import it into Excel just because it's a little bit easier to deal with. So I just changed a lot of the formatting here. I changed the date so that you could read the day of the week to see, if there's more delays happening on certain days of the week. I also have a numeric value over here for that. And then I imported the airlines and airports codes that was included in the initial data set. And I turned those codes into actual values so that anybody using them will know. So I used the VLOOKUP feature, which references, the other sheet that allows us to pull those values. So I used that for the airport, airline, and destination airport. And then really all I did was, again, you could see that the times changed, the hours and the minutes are readable now. The delays are fine because they're just by a minute, so I left those the same. And then I just kept a distance in there as well because they're pretty telling. So I wanted to do some analysis and modeling on the data in order to do some predictions for the types of amount of delays that would happen. So this is the training set that we're looking at, and you can see that I have the column arrival delay, which is what we're trying to predict in the training set. And then we also have a test set, which is again a smaller portion that's after the 23rd of January. And this test set, taking a little while to load, does not have the arrival delay column. So again, we're going to use a polynomial regression learner to try to predict the arrival delays. But first, I kind of wanted to get an idea of the data set. So I did some visualizations to kind of see what the most popular airlines were. You can see Southwest, Delta are 2 of the more popular ones. And then here is a scatter plot, kind of looking at the distribution of delays for each airline once this loads. So you can see who's having the longest delays, who's having more delays. They're all pretty clustered similarly, but again, the ones with the shorter kind of bars here are doing better with their delay times. And then this is a graph that shows should show. Let's execute it. And it shows, come on, don't know why it's not working. Interactive view. So this shows the average day of the week for each airline on what day delays are happening. And for almost all of them, they're happening, you can see on 5. So I believe that's a Friday. So a lot of delays are happening on Fridays because the average for each airline is 5. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. So then I went ahead and used a polynomial regression learner on the training set, and then input the test set and the training set into the predictor. One issue I had was I needed to convert the predicted arrival delay into an integer, so I used that node here, and once I did that, you can see it transforms. So once I did that, I used a joiner to have the original arrival delays from the training set and the predicted. You can see a lot of them are similar. So once I joined them together, I went ahead and tried to score to compare to see how the predictor did. And we can see we get R squared value of 1. So we know that the predictor did a good job. And the test and analysis was able to predict the flight times given the variables. So I thought this was a pretty successful project in predicting the amount of delays and how long the delays will be happening. So that's all I got. Thank you.